Should you start your own business if your employer is not compensating you well enough, even though you are the one driving the company? This is one of the questions that each individual will face depending on their level of excellence in a certain company. Now, sometimes you realize that you become like the driving force of the entity. You become a pillar of the entity. Without you, a lot of things cannot be done. In other words, you drive a lot of things in the company, and the success of the company is partly attributed to you, not because you started the company, but because you are the person who has committed a lot. You've worked extra hard. However, for some reason, you feel you are not compensated enough. I have been in that position, and in this masterclass, I am going to be sharing with you some practical knowledge and experience to enable you to navigate that decision and to determine whether really you should leave, go start your own business, start your own career, or it is okay to continue to stay in that environment even though you feel you are not compensated enough. You have to understand always that sometimes this is going to happen. Maybe you feel you should be paid $1,000, but the company is paying you $500. Maybe you feel that the value you are bringing on the table and the way you are driving this company, the company is supposed to give you more than they are giving you. And sometimes the reason why people become bitter about that is because of the approach of the employer or the boss. What happens is that you see the employer or the boss trying to build assets, acquire properties, do a lot of things when you are a significant force that drives everything within the organization. That is why some people get to that level. But there are a couple of things I want to share with you today, 4 things specifically to help you to answer the question whether you should resign from your current post and start your own business or continue to stay there hoping that things will change. Number one, starting and running a business is different from working for someone. That is the first thing you need to understand. If you are the one who is going to now start the business, it is going to be different. Because being an entrepreneur, being the CEO, being the boss, being the one who will now start the business is going to be different from working for someone. Why is that? Because you are starting from scratch. Sometimes you may feel that there are some customers who, when you go independent, they will come and buy from you. Sometimes you feel that, oh, when you start this thing within 6 months to 12 months, you will be able to start generating money. But it is not going to be the same. So remember, starting a business is different from working for someone. Why is that important? Because of the second point. You will be responsible for many more than you think. Unlike your current job where you are responsible for whatever role you are in, maybe you are the marketing officer, you are the accountant, you are the accounts clerk, you are the receptionist, you are the sales agent. You are responsible for a specific role, you undertake a specific responsibility. But if you now take on the heart of an entrepreneur, the heart of a business owner to start your own business and go independent from your current employment, it means that you'll be responsible for many things. A number of things that you have to be mindful of will be number one, business registration, business operating permits, tax and accounting issues, raising finance. Where do you get the money from to start a business? Because there are a lot of businesses which, when you want to start, you would need some capital, you will need some funding, you will need building, you will need office, you will need equipment, you will need infrastructure facilities. Do you have the funding, and where do you get that money from? You have to be thinking about that. Marketing and sales. How do you create awareness that, okay, your company is distinguished and can offer the service that your previous employer is offering? Because now they are bigger than you, they have some loyalty, they have some clients, you are new, so you have to spend a lot in marketing, sales to create awareness, drive people, and ensure that people know you. Where do you get the money from? Customer service. Now you have to be careful of that. You have to care for the customers. Previously, you didn't really, if you're not in the sales customer relation department, you didn't have any relationship with the customers. But now you would have to be mindful of putting in place systems that ensure that customers are satisfied, among other things. So if you decide to leave your current place of employment and go independent and start your own business, definitely it means that you are going to be responsible for more. The question is, are you willing? I know somebody in the comment section would say, yes, Nhyira, it is better to work for yourself than to work for someone else. But I can guarantee you, 99.9% of the time, it is okay to be an employee. 99.9% of the time, it is okay to remain in the employment of somebody. 99.9% of the time, it is okay to allow someone else to think about these headaches: business registration, tax issues, accounting, marketing and sales. Where do we get money from as a company? Customer service, signing of the lease agreement. Who should be appointed to the team? How do we recruit new staff? Sometimes it's okay to let someone else bother about it. Sometimes it's okay. But if you feel you have the urge to leave and start, then let me hit you with the third one, is that you must be persistent but patient. Listen, if you leave your current job and start a company, let's say you have the funding right. Let's say you have the business operating permit. Let's say you have the tax and accounting right. You have the sales and marketing right. You have the customer service right. You have to be patient but persistent. What does that mean? You are not going to build a multinational company, a billion-dollar company in the next 6 months. I can guarantee you that. It is going to take time. So the question you need to ask yourself is, can I wait? Do I have time on my hand? Am I willing to give up everything and be patient but persistent? It means that you're going to work hard, you're going to put in the work, you're going to put in the effort, you're going to sacrifice, but you have to also be patient that this will not happen overnight. Because sometimes employees think that, okay, yeah, I know how to do this thing very well, so I'll start my business and in 6 months I'll make money. No. You have to give yourself between 5 to 10 years before you start seeing something significant. You need to be patient but persistent. Are you willing to give yourself 5 to 10 years of working before you start seeing some results? I've been in that spot where I was working in an institution. I did all I have to do, gave out my best. Sometimes I have to work from home to the workplace. I go lecture, do my best. And then I can work for a long period of time, 6, 7, 8 months. I've not been paid. And this has been happening many a time. Then sometimes I'll just be there, then I'll receive something which is like 20% of how much is outstanding. But there is money coming into the business. There is money coming in. There were no debt outstanding because I'm a finance guy. I'm an accounting guy. So I know the finance. I know what's going on. So I decided and I was like, no, I'm not going to be in this environment any longer. And where the kicker came in was one time I approached my then employer and I was requesting for my outstanding payment. And then he opened his mouth and you know what he said? He said, oh, Nhyira, I'm going to buy land with my wife. And it's unfortunate because the money that I could have given you, I'm going to buy land with my wife. And so we will find out and get you something. He was saying that jovially because he had a broad smile on his face because he was saying that jovially. But I took that as an insult to my life. This is where I am, a very young guy coming up, have not even started any life. I don't have anything. I am now working, trying to earn some money, make sure that I pay my rent, make sure that I get some good clothes to wear, make sure that I take care of myself and become successful. And then I have worked for a long period of time and you tell me you are going to use the money to buy land? That was the kick point for me. But this is what I did. I didn't just get up and started my education company, Premium Education Hub. I didn't just get up to do it. I sat down and I said, hey, listen, I'm going to go and do this. And I'm going to give myself 10 years. If after 10 years I don't become successful, I don't do anything, I don't achieve anything significant, it's okay. I would go back, look for a job somewhere else and do. So I gave myself 10 years straight. I said, I'm willing to work for 10 years. And I sat down, did the plan, did everything. And I said, in the next 10 years, I'm committing to this. I want to be excellent at teaching accounting, at teaching financial reporting, at teaching corporate reporting. I want to be excellent at doing what I do. And I want to make sure that I run a successful organization, employ people, bring people on board. And I'm willing to work hard, be persistent, but be patient, because I know I cannot build anything significant in 6 months. I cannot build anything significant in 3 years. If I'm going to build anything significant, it is going to be from 5 years onward. And I'm still on the journey now. Possibly I'm in my 5th year. It is now that we have started the engine, literally. We are yet to taxi it a little bit on the runway, and then after we taxi on the runway, then boom, we can take off and gather some momentum and start auto cruising. So you have to understand, are you willing to give 10 years? When you start the business, it will not become successful overnight. I can guarantee you. It will not become successful overnight. When we started, 1 student, 2 students, but guess what? Because I was playing the long-term game, and I still play the long-term game, I didn't care about how many students that came. If it was 1 student, if it is 2, if it is 5, if it is 10, my energy, my intensity, my excellence, my level of delivery is still the same. Why? Because I know I am building something, and I'm patient, but I'm persistent. I am patient, but I'm persistent. The question is, are you willing to be patient? Knowing that you will still work, you may not be able to pay some bills, you will not be able to go anywhere, but you will be able to build something in 10 years. Are you willing? If you are not willing to commit the next 10 years, take that risk, because remember, you can fail. You can fail. I'm not successful. I've not done anything. I'm not successful. I'm still hustling. I'm still struggling. I'm still trying to, pay the bills. But I know definitely by the time I cross a decade in the game of running a business, I will definitely get there. So it's a risk. But are you willing to bet on yourself? Are you willing to trust that you can do it? You have to answer that question. Don't listen to friends. Don't listen to people who try to whisper something in your ears. Yeah, go. Charlie, I know you. Charlie, this thing, if you do it, you'll be so. No. Be careful. Running a business, it's a game different from being an employee. So you must be persistent, but patient. The 4th thing you need to understand about deciding whether to resign and start your business or to remain in your employment is you will be stretched and lonely many of the time to be able to reach the top. You will be stretched and lonely on your journey to the top. That's it. Excellence doesn't require crowd. Excellence doesn't require noise. Excellence required loneliness. The question is, can you be alone? There are a lot of sacrifices I had to make. Immediately, I made a decision that I'm committing the next 10 years of my life, trying to build something significant for my life, be able to take care of the people I love, and most importantly, transform the life of hundreds of thousands of people across the globe. I have to make certain decisions. One of the things that I realized, and you can read this on my blog on the website, I'll be leaving that in the description, the blog in the description, so you can read it. I decided that, hey, Nhyira, one of the things that was taking my time, my resources, and the little money I was earning was relationship. So, boom, I canceled that. I cannot be in a relationship single. That way, I don't have any emotional trouble. I'm not thinking about somebody not texting me, someone texting me. See, our paths are different. I'm not advising you to do what I did or what I'm doing. I am telling you what I have to do. So, cancel relationship. No girlfriend, no nothing. Just on myself. And guess what? I was laughed at. Lonely a lot. You have to learn to be alone, because you can't go out with the guys Sunday going to sit somewhere, eat fufu and nkatenkwine. You cannot do that. The question is, are you willing to be lonely to reach the top? Because your environment is very important if you want to now become an employer. Do you think your boss gallivants around by heart? No. The boss doesn't gallivant around. Yes, today you may see the boss going into events, attending weddings, but now they've reached a point that they could do that. But when they were building their companies, look at every company across the globe: Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, Google, YouTube. Look at all the companies, read their history. It took them between 5 to 10 years to start seeing results. 5 to 10 years to start seeing results. And the founders, almost all the time, were lonely. They cannot go out, they cannot club, they cannot go and drink. They have to be always sane, focused, working on the product, improving on the product so they can become successful. My question is, can you be alone but not feel lonely? And that is something I have to learn. And up to today, that is something I have to learn. That is something I have to stay with. That, hey, listen, Nhyira, this is your life. You're going to be alone, but you don't have to feel lonely. You're going to be by yourself, but you don't have to be sad. You're going to be by yourself, but you have to learn to motivate yourself, like David said, in the Lord. You have to be able to be alone, but not feel lonely. My question is, can you do that? So before you jump and say, yeah, I'm going to start my own business. Yeah, it's better to work for myself. Yes, I'm not being paid enough. Find out whether you possess the qualities that I've shared my thoughts on today. Starting a business and running a business is different from being an employee. You will be responsible for more than you are now if you decide to start a business. You must be persistent, but also patient, because it is going to take a long time before you start seeing some results. And the final thing is that you will be stretched and lonely many of the time to reach the top. The question is, can you be alone and not feel lonely? These are the 4 things that I think you have to consider. And personally, these were the things that I considered, thought about, strategized, planned out before I launched myself out. Ultimately, if you decide to make that decision, know that you have bet on yourself. That's it. And if you have bet on yourself, you need wisdom, you need mentorship, you need books, you need podcasts, you need to learn from the best of the best. You have to make sure you work or you surround yourself with the best people. Because if you want to leave that job and start your business, and you have to be willing that in the next 10 years, I'm going to do this. And when I do it, by the grace of God, I will become successful. Like I said, I just started the engine. I'm now taxiing probably on the runway. Pretty soon I may take off, and then I'll be on autopilot. I don't know when that is going to happen, but I am committed and I'm playing the long-term game. That is my mindset. That is my attitude. Because of that, there are a lot of sacrifices I have to make. But is it worth it? Yes, it is worth it. Because if you are willing to make the sacrifice, definitely you will become successful. That is what you have to consider to decide whether you should resign from your current post and start your own business or stay there. I'll see you in the next video.